Pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the National News Broadcast. We are coming to you live from the Rupavahini's News Studios. I'm Lanka Ananda.
And I'm Prashant De Silva. We begin with a look at the headlines. The presidential election and the general election will be held next year. The president focuses his attention on cricket as well. The petition against the Cricket Interim Committee will be further considered tomorrow. The September installment of Asfasama beneficiary scheme will be paid from tomorrow. Israel cabinet nods to an agreement with Hamas to release 50 hostages.
Now for those and other stories in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that the Supreme Court decision against the persons who are responsible for the economic crisis in the country is about violation of human rights but not a criminal offence. During the budget debate in Parliament today, the President said that an extensive investigation should be conducted to find out the culprits responsible for the economic crisis in the country.
Now today is the first day of the third reading of the budget debate. 25 votes, including the President, Prime Minister, Opposition Leader, Supreme Court judges, independent commissions and several other votes were debated today. Parliamentarian Lakshman Kiriyala said that there was an opinion that no decision can be taken against the rulers. However, we should be thankful towards the Supreme Court since it has given a significant verdict after a long time. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that Parliamentarian Lakshman Kiriyala suggested that the court can now hold rulers accountable, an idea he initiated. He urged not to oppose him, as our collective efforts have fortified democracy. Therefore, he kindly requested support, at least for its budgetary proposal. Regarding the former president, who is a lawyer handling his legal matters, he emphasized our commitment to democracy. If he is innocent, he will be acquitted, a testament to the democratic principles we have installed in our country. He is planning to conduct both presidential and parliamentary elections next year, followed by provincial councils and local government elections the following year. In response to a recent question from the leader of the opposition, he wants to highlight that he has received a report indicating that the Attorney General has filed a case against ABC Enterprises and 24 others. The case has been filed to address the alleged violation of the petitioner's human rights in connection to the awarding of the dry food and bread supply tender to ABC Enterprises for the Trincomalee prison in 2023 and 2024. The petitioner seeks compensation for 2.5 million rupees. He can inquire with the Attorney General to provide the specific information required for this matter. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that he accepts its responsibility. It was stated as 23 instead of 22. However, the content of the problem is very clear. He talked about the matter that the country went bankrupt due to improper management of the economy. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the report he received indicates a violation of a fundamental right, emphasizing insufficient evidence for a criminal case during that period. It suggests adherence to separate rules. It is crucial to address this issue, particularly concerning the matter of public trust. The report implies that the former president did not take necessary actions, necessitating a comprehensive analysis of events following that period. In our tradition, when the leader of the opposition is invited to form a government and has the majority, they usually proceed. However, our opposition leader did not follow this tradition, constituting a breach of public trust. The premiership he assumed that day was not granted by the Rajapaksas, but several MPs approached me and he accepted the responsibility to restore the country. He sought everyone's support based on public trust. While he undertook this responsibility, his residence was set ablaze and the parliament was raided. Despite calls for my resignation, he stated that he would step down if anyone with a majority emerged. During the siege of the parliament, when the army commander arrived, party leaders fled. Ultimately, he instructed the army commander to take any necessary measures to safeguard the parliament. A thorough examination of these events will reveal who is responsible and who is not. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that Shammi Silva has no power to request the ICC for a suspension of cricket in Sri Lanka. A letter in this connection has been tabled at the parliament on several occasions during the past few weeks.
Send me those 3 letters, then I will follow it up. You said there were 3 letters, no?
Yes.
You tabled? Send those to me, I'll follow up on that.
Honorable President. අනේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා මගේ කතාව අහලා යන්න. කතාව අහලා යන්න. අඩුවනේ ඕගොල්ලෝ හරි ඉන්න පොඩ්ඩක්. ඕගොල්ලෝ ඉන්න.
මේ අයවැයේ තියෙන
Minister Harin Fernandes said that there is no shortcomings in the budget. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has taken measures within the past year to revitalize the country's broken economy. The opposition parties should also support this budget. However, it highlights the problems in cricket instead of the budget proposals. Minister Harin Fernandes said that he would cite an example from ticket to praise President Ranil Wickremesinghe. In this World Cup tournament, Australia team lost the first 2 matches. It was also about to be defeated by Afghanistan. However, due to the brilliant innings played by Glenn Maxwell, Aussies won the match. While Maxwell was scoring fast, Captain Pat Cummins stayed at the non-striker end, safeguarding his wicket. President Ranil Wickremesinghe also plays a role like Glenn Maxwell. Unfortunately, we don't have someone like Pat Cummins in the non-striker end to prosper this nation. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that speaking about cricket, he wants to address accusations of protecting individuals. While unsure of the court's verdict, he believes that in cases with disputes, decisions should be sought from the court. Regarding the current situation, he conversed with the ICC and they expressed concerns about political interference, emphasizing the need for a law rather than defending individuals. Currently facing 2 charges, one pertains to the dissolution of the cricket board by this council, which awaits a legal verdict. The other alleges parliamentary involvement, as the opposition swiftly approved the decision when the minister announced it. He emphasized the presence of politics in this matter. Importantly, the Chief Justice, not me, selected and appointed Raja Karuna as the President of the Court of Appeal. Launching attacks under the guise of parliamentary privileges is unacceptable. There is no privilege in this context. He consistently emphasized that Article 4 of the Constitution should remain inviolable. He has refrained from blaming judges directly. While we can critique judgments, accusing a judge should be done following standing orders. Otherwise, claims of privileges are unwarranted. Placing the council in such a situation is unprecedented and regrettable. It is essential to recognize that the Legislative Council is distinct from Parliament. It is a part of the executive. Their role involves supporting the President in appointments, assessing the suitability of names and making suggestions. We introduced the Anti-Corruption Commission Act and he has been awaiting the names of the commissioners for 3 months now. Despite our discussions on combating corruption, the appointment of the commission members is delayed due to concerns raised by a few individuals. Moreover, the primary purpose of this assembly is to pass laws. We often commence work late and people do not pay us to merely perform. They expect us to pass legislation. Therefore, he recommended discussing with the cabinet the introduction of a new amendment, suggesting that we shift to the main agenda after the first hour. It is addressed at the graduation ceremony of the National Defence College yesterday. President Ranil Wickremesinghe highlighted the historical significance associated with the National Defence College building.
The President underscored that these decisions played a pivotal role in upholding British dominance over the Indian Ocean during that crucial juncture in history. He mentioned that the post-World War II era saw leaders like Mr. D.S. Senanayake, Sir John Kotalawala and Mrs. Sirimavo Bandaranayake championing the cause of freedom from great power rivalries and their vision, later endorsed at the Bandung Conference in Jakarta, Concord, reflecting a commitment to navigate international relations with an independent stance.
Now in this same building, you too have to focus, or you're focusing again on the Indian Ocean when we see the new geopolitics take place. But after the war, we had made a commitment made by Mr. D.S. Nayaka, which was repeated and by Sir John Kothalavala and as endorsed at the Bandung conference, that we should be free of great power rivalry, and taken one step further when Mrs. Bandaranaike announced the Indian Ocean as a peace zone. All this was endorsed in the Jakarta Concord when the IORA leaders met in 2017. Now these are the principles which Sri Lanka upholds and which IORA is committed to. I just thought I'll mention a few words of what the situation is today, because the Commandant described what is defense today. It is no longer a question of an extension of politics. When international politics break down, then you go to war. That's what happened even in 1939. It's no longer that. It's more like I would say a fruit salad. Everything is included there. But what has really sparked everything off is what has happened in Israel, which was never in the plans of either side. The Hamas attack, which is a major lapse of policy, that while bringing the Arab and the Israel states together, they ignored the Palestinians and the Palestinian issues. Now this is a major problem. And the attack took place. And I've always said, while Sri Lanka has always supported the rights of Palestine as a free state, we could not condone the attack and we condemned it. But where do you go from there? And that's where the world has split. In my view, what you needed first was a government in Israel which showed national unity and was a government of the center which could take the settlers out. Nevertheless, but the whole Gaza war has now split the world and stretched it out politically. And stations like Al Jazeera and BBC is bringing it into your own living room and bedroom. You sit there eating and you see bombs and dead bodies. You are in your bedroom, you see children's bodies. So you can just imagine what the reaction is in the world. It's basically split the world. And it's been a disadvantage to the US. It's also stretched the US powers. With all these coalitions, you just can't take on. When you focus your military assets and your naval assets in the Mediterranean, what can you do in Ukraine? President Zelensky is shouting that the media has moved away from Ukraine. That's how much the media counts in this war. It helped him at one time, now it's moved on to Gaza. And certainly not so in the Pacific. So that the whole system that was propagated in the last 2 years have also come apart. So it's from here that we have to think of geopolitics and where we are. One good thing is the meeting between President Biden and President Xi, where they have had a positive discussion, though all the issues are not solved, we didn't expect. And now we have to work in that background. We all like that meeting. But as a small country, you got to remember two things. When elephants fight, the grass gets crushed. Similarly, when elephants make love, the grass gets crushed. So we are the grass. Whether they fight or whether they make love, we are the ones who get crushed. So we have to ensure that we are able to survive this scenario. And that's where we have to work out our strategy. World is becoming more complex, and we have to ensure that we are not attached to any side. Sri Lanka won't be. Whatever be the politics of the different administrations, everyone has ensured that we kept out of big power rivalry. We won't do so. We also know that we are in the Indian Ocean. We are in the middle of the Indian Ocean. The same ocean that Leighton and Admiral Cunningham had to deal with. Admiral Somerville had to deal with. It's the same Indian Ocean, and this time we have to ensure that no one dominates it and it's free. So this is where our political and our economic and our foreign policy strength.
A further consideration of the petition against Sri Lanka Cricket Interim Committee was postponed for tomorrow.
Now this decision was taken when the petition was resummoned at the Court of Appeal today. It was resummoned before panel of appeal court judges, namely Sobhita Rajakaruna and D.N. Samarakon. Appearing for the Sri Lanka Cricket Chairman, President's Counsel Ramesh De Silva stated that under the 32nd clause of the Sport Act, the minister is vested with a very limited power to suspend a sport association. President's Counsel Udita Igalavaheva appeared for the Minister of Sports. He said that approval of the Executive Committee of the Sri Lanka Cricket is not given to file this petition. Then the reconsidering the petition was postponed until tomorrow. Minister Roshan Ranasinghe and Chairman of the Cricket Interim Committee Arjuna Ranasinghe also appeared before the courts today. Meanwhile, a media briefing was held at the Sri Lanka cricket premises under the patronage of Chairman Shammi Silva and Executive Committee. They informed the media over decisions taken by the Director Board of the ICC with regard to Sri Lanka yesterday. President of Sri Lanka Cricket Shammi Silva said that International Cricket Council has determined that no financial malpractice has taken place involving the Sri Lanka Cricket Board. He also said that ICC has investigated the report issued by Sri Lanka's Auditor General on alleged financial malpractice by the SLC. He said that the ICC, through its auditing unit and relevant officials, investigated the report and found that no financial malpractice has taken place at the hands of the SLC. The ICC has determined that there was no financial malpractice as claimed. Given details on the ICC's recent meeting, the SLC president further revealed that discussing Sri Lanka's cricket crisis, the ICC board said this was complete political interference, including from the parliament. Shammi Silva went on to note that, however, the ICC had agreed to allow Sri Lanka to host and play bilateral and ICC tournaments despite the recent suspension.
The State Minister of Finance, Shehan Semasinghe, says that the September instalment for Aswasma beneficial recipient can be taken from tomorrow. The minister said a sum of 8,571 million rupees has been released to the relevant banks for this purpose. There are 1,377,000 Aswasma beneficiary families in the country. State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe stated that the October, November and December installments will be paid to the beneficiary families before the end of this year. Calling new applications to select new beneficiaries will also be held in December. Under the guidance of President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Aswasma affairs are reviewed in every 6 months. In addition, the State Minister pointed out that arrears of the allowances for elderly people, kidney patients and disabled persons have already been paid at present.
Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena says that army and police officers have been deployed to collect income of the expressway counters. Employees of the Southern Expressways started a strike this morning. Employees of the expressway are away from duties since this morning, requesting to fulfill 3 demands. They say that about 11,000 employees belong to 27 trade unions have joined the trade union action. They have reported medical leave today. Accordingly, employees of the Colombo-Kadunayaka Expressway, Outer Circular Expressway, Southern Expressway and Central Expressway are on strike at present. President of the All Island Expressway Employees Union, Johan Hasita Munasinghe, said that a cabinet paper has been submitted to privatize the expressway company. The management had also decided to cut down the medical leave allowance from this year. He said, therefore, the employees have started this strike to express their protests against these decisions. He also said that they had discussed with the Transport Minister regarding this matter. Meanwhile, army and police officers have been deployed by the government to charge money at the highway exit counters as the employees have reported medical leave. Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena said that employees of the expressways have removed the machines and gadgets of the exit counters, blocking any other staff issuing and collecting money. These are government assets. Therefore, a system had been arranged to issue temporary tickets. Measures have been taken to prevent the loss of income from the expressways due to this strike. This is an act of sabotage. As a government, we can't tolerate such anti-government activities. If any employees of the expressways have kept state-owned items with them, they should immediately hand it over to relevant authorities. Issuing temporary tickets at the Kottawa Expressway has started at present. The minister started a tour at the Kottawa entrance to monitor the activities there. Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena said that the government had given a pledge that no employees of the Road Development Authority will lose their employments. If they are not willing to accept the government's promise, further actions has been taken to continue these activities. The minister has also expressed views regarding this matter in Parliament.
සේවකයෙක්වත් රැකියාව අයිමි වෙන්නේ නැතය කියන එක පිළිබඳ ස්ථිර ප්‍රතිඥාවක් දුන්නත් පිළිගන්නේ නැත්නම් ඒක කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ කතානායකතුමනි. මම ඇහුවේ අධිවේගී මාර්ග
Parliamentarian Lakshman Kiriella questions whether the expressway will be given on leasing or sold. Minister Dr. Bandulu Guruvardhana said that the government will never sell or lease the expressways. The government has to increase the state income as it has faced a severe financial crisis. The expressways have been acquired by a government company named Sahanya, which is controlled by the Road Development Authority.
The Speaker Mahinda Pabewardena has decided to suspend State Minister Sanat Nishanta entering the Parliament for 2 weeks. The Speaker has taken this decision considering his behaviour explicit in Parliament yesterday. When Opposition Leader Sajith Premadasa was asking a question under standing orders, a group of ruling party members objected him. A chaotic situation occurred at that time and the Opposition Leader accused that State Minister Sanat Nishanta had grabbed his file at that moment. After this situation, parliamentary affairs have been suspended for about 30 minutes. Considering this situation, the Speaker said that the State Minister will be suspended for 2 weeks. Speaker Mahinda Pabewardena said that they vehemently reject the severe violation of discipline in the Parliament yesterday. He said that he will suspend Parliamentarian Sanat Nishanta for 2 weeks under the powers vested with him under the standing orders. Now, a truce agreement between Hamas and Israel has been confirmed by both parties along with Qatar, which mediated the deal that would bring a temporary halt to the devastating war that is now in its 7th week.
Under an outline of the deal, Hamas is to free over a 4-day period at least 50 of roughly 240 hostages taken in its October 7th attack on Israel, and Israel is to release some Palestinian prisoners in exchange. Hamas says the 4-day pause in fighting between Israel and Hamas will begin tomorrow. Israel has not commented on when the pause will begin, but Foreign Minister Eli Cohen said he expected the first hostages to be received tomorrow. Under the agreement, 50 Israeli hostages taken by Hamas will be released and 150 Palestinian women and teenagers held in Israeli jails freed. Up to another 150 Palestinians could be released as well as another 50 hostages from Gaza. Israel confirmed its ground and air operation in Gaza is continuing before the pause starts. Israel's government insists that this isn't the end of the war, reiterating its commitment to complete the elimination of Hamas.
Waiting to hear whether their loved ones could be.
The Foreign Ministry of Israel yesterday conducted an online Zoom press briefing of the situation at present in Gaza and the special operation against Hamas. Journalists across the world, including the main international media networks, participated on this briefing.
One major accusation against Israel is that the loss of civilian lives in the initial stage of the airstrikes. What are the measures that now you are adopting to minimize those civilian casualties, especially in the air campaign? And number two, I am from Sri Lanka, and 2 Sri Lankans were killed during the October 7th attack by Hamas, and further 8,000 Sri Lankans are currently working in Israel. So what are the measures that Israel government has taken to ensure the safety of the foreigners in Israel?
We are in war against terror organization. And this terror organization has a strategy. One is a military operational strategy, and the second one is civil humanitarian strategy. They are using every civil humanitarian infrastructure for their own use, for terror purposes. So they are putting civilians as a human shield. They are using the civilians as a shield. So we are trying to and we are doing our best to distinguish between the terrorists and the residents. Now, when I'm saying a terrorist, Hamas terrorist, is not wearing uniform. Yeah, it can be with like your clothes and holding a weapon or an RPG and shoot at us. So this is a delicate situation that we need to deal with. Someone that can look to you naive, but he is a terrorist, and you do not know until he will shoot at you. So we called the people that do not want to engage with us, do not want to be a part of terror, to evacuate to the south. This is the first thing that we are doing in order to reduce the impact of civilians. We created humanitarian corridors. We are calling for people to be in shelters, in UN shelters. And those shelters are being delivered to us, the locations of the shelters, and they are on our systems in order not to harm them. So those are just some of the things that we are doing in order to try to distinguish between the population, the residents, and the terrorists, and it's a hard job. The second thing about the foreigners are like the citizens of Israel. We are doing everything in our power in order to protect everyone in my country, foreigners or locals, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry that people of Sri Lanka and others, we have people from 27 states that have been harmed for this in this massacre that they did. And frankly saying, we are fighting the world's war. It's the world's war, not just Israel war.
Now, the Met Department says that further expansion of prevailing rainy condition is expected in the coming days.
Floods and earth slips have occurred in many areas. The death of a person was reported last night from Peradeniya area. Meanwhile, an earth mound has fallen onto the upcoming railway line, blocking the railway services along the line. A person was killed by an earth slip occurred at Peradeniya town last night. Several trade stalls have been completely destroyed by the earth slip that occurred at about 11:30 last night. Peradeniya police, army and fire brigade started a rescue mission and found the dead body this morning. Director General of Disaster Management Centre, retired Major General Sudhanta Ranasinghe, said that red alerts have been issued for several identified areas. An earth mound has fallen into the upcoming railway track between Ohia and Idalgasinna railway stations. The night mail, which was locked inside the tunnel number 31, was taken to Badula railway station this evening. Railway workers, with the help of army officials, have taken measures to remove boulders and soil in risky areas. Our correspondent says that the side wall of the primary section of the Wattagama Girls' School has collapsed due to heavy rains in the area. The army officials have been deployed to clean the school premises. The Central Hills are receiving heavy rains further. Accordingly, 6 spill gates of the Victoria Reservoir has been opened at present. A water flow of 675 cubic meters per second is released to Mahavali River, and the excess water is accumulated in the Randanigala Reservoir.
Now, a special stamp was issued yesterday to mark the centenary of the main hall of the Colombo Royal College. The ceremony was held under the patronage of President's Senior Advisor on National Security and Chief of the Presidential Staff, Sagala Ratnayaka. This has been organized in line with the 79th Annual Felix Exhibition of the Royal College. The centenary commemoration stamp was presented to Sagala Ratnayaka by State Minister of Mass Media, Shanta Bandara. The annual issue published by the Royal Felix of the Royal College was also presented to Sagala Ratnayaka by the President of Philatelist Association, Sanuka Vanasinghe, and Secretary Deveen Balasurya. Venerable Gavaragiriye Premaratana Thera, Principal of Royal College Tilak Watuheva, and large crowd were present at this moment. The 11th stage of the National Dengue Control Action jointly carried out by the National Television 14th of December. In line with this program, a dengue control program. In line with this program, a dengue control program was held at the Jamalia Muslim Mahavidyalaya today under the supervision of Medical Officer of Health in Trincomalee, Dr. Vijay Kumar. In addition, a special discussion regarding the national action on preventing spread of dengue mosquitoes was held at the Trincomalee District Secretariat under the patronage of the District Secretary Shamind Hettiarachi. Members of 3 armed forces and police, public officials, doctors and representatives of civil organizations were present at the discussion.
The Sri Lankan housemaid who was subjected to torture and assault returned to the island today. It was revealed that she was forced to swallow nails and metal-bearing balls. She has been identified as a 32-year-old Ramachandra Darshani, a mother of 3 children and a resident of Nevada area in Mathugama. She had said that the house owners of Medina city in Saudi Arabia had assaulted her severely. The government of Congo says that at least 31 people were killed and dozens injured at a stadium in the Republic of Congo's capital Brazzaville overnight, with local media reporting a stampede during an army recruitment drive.
We'll be back with more details on this story after the international break.
Now, the government of Congo says that at least 31 people were killed and dozens injured at a stadium in the Republic of Congo's capital, Brazzaville, overnight, with local media reporting a stampede during an army recruitment drive. The government said the incident occurred on Monday night at the Orlando Stadium, where continuing army recruitment operations, which were launched on 14th November. It did not directly refer to a stampede, but said the causes of the incident were being investigated. The recruitment process has been suspended and a day of mourning declared to pay tribute to 31 recovered bodies and over 140 injured. It said in a statement that revised an earlier reported death toll of 37. Local media said the stampede was triggered by young men seeking to submit their applications.
Terima kasih, Santamai.
On sports news, Trinity College Kandy won the championship for first part of the Under-19 All-Ireland Inter-School Cricket Tournament. The Trinity College team beat St. Joseph's College team in Maradana at the finals. The match was played at the Thurston College ground in Colombo yesterday. Trinity College won the toss and elected to field. Batting first, St. Joseph's College scored 135 runs. Manasa Badubashana scored 37 runs. Taranga Vimaladharma claimed 3 wickets. In reply, Trinity College passed the victory target for 8 wickets in 39.3 overs. And that's all the news we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at the same time for the very latest on ChannelEye. I'm Dulanjali, together with Prashant.